Wow, SmackDown, honestly, tonight, it blew my mind. This Funhouse stuff is just getting to the point now where, oh my god, anything could happen. Expect the unexpected. We can theorize as much as we like, but honestly, WWE deliver. Just as you start thinking, okay, things need to change, it changes for the better. And this week, we pretty much started off with the Firefly Fun House. Of course, Miz was in the ring. Miz wanted to track down Daniel Bryan and work out what happened to Daniel Bryan. And Bray Wyatt did come on the screen. He told the world that Daniel Bryan is with the Fiend. But he also said he doesn't know where Daniel Bryan is, but he knows he's with the Fiend. So that's interesting because obviously you would think, okay, so maybe the Fiend's abducted Daniel Bryan, but we know we saw Bray Wyatt. So the Fiend wasn't with Bray Wyatt. Now, interestingly, last week, of course, the Fiend attacked Daniel Bryan in the middle of the ring. Well, underneath the ring, ripping his hair out, and he promised us a new face for the Funhouse. It looks more likely now that that face could be Daniel Bryan. And Daniel Bryan might be the Fiend. I know, crazy, right? But maybe the Fiend has left Bray Wyatt and inserted himself into Daniel Bryan. Like, that's pretty insane. Like, this picture on screen is just one I've just mucked up because I had to talk about it. But again, we'll come back to that in a minute because it does make things a lot more interesting. Because this week, as I mentioned, we saw Bray Wyatt attack The Miz backstage. This is the first time we've seen Funhouse Bray outside of the Firefly Fun House, and that's crazy. It was almost it's not a throwaway segment at all, but it was just right in the middle of the start of the show, and that's really, really cool because, okay, this could have happened at the end, but it didn't need to. And WWE did this so well because everyone's going crazy. There's a commercial break. And then once that commercial break is over, The Miz is left in the ring with referee Rudy Charles. And he asks, where's he gone? Talking about Bray Wyatt. He asks where the picture is gone. And Rudy Charles has no idea what The Miz is talking about. And that's really interesting because obviously the TV saw it. The commentators saw it through their monitor. But Rudy Charles didn't see it. And Rudy Charles, probably the first guy on scene, probably the first guy there, hasn't had a chance to look at the TV, hasn't had a chance to look at the monitor. And we have seen that before with the puppets from the Funhouse. The Funhouse puppets obviously showed up on Raw and Smackdown behind superstars. They showed up behind Miz twice, by the way. And no one saw them. There was multiple instances of superstars literally walking past them and didn't acknowledge they was there. It's something we talked about a lot at the time, but it's something that we obviously just forgot about. But now that that's happened with Bray, that makes things a lot more interesting. Now, what is interesting is the fact that for the last few weeks, The Miz has been warning Daniel Bryan not to take on Bray Wyatt. Of course, he's been saying how this Fiend stuff is really dark and that Daniel Bryan would be changed forever. Of course, Daniel Bryan's got a wife and kids. And The Miz said tonight he cares. And he probably didn't want Daniel Bryan to come to any harm. So if The Miz sort of foreseed this fact that Daniel Bryan could become the Fiend, that means The Miz was telling the truth. Which is interesting because back in 2013, there was a whole segment where Bray Wyatt branded The Miz a liar. And maybe we know that Bray Wyatt does lie to us. He told us the world is flat. He told us that dinosaurs are not extinct, apart from Luchasaurus. And he told us stuff that has been a lie. So maybe the fact that Miz is telling the truth hurts Bray Wyatt. And that's why Bray Wyatt wants to challenge The Miz. Now, of course, we saw Bray Wyatt hang up Daniel Bryan's picture on the Wall of Friendship. Usually when he does this, he's usually close to being finished with someone. But maybe he's finished with Daniel Bryan. But maybe the Fiend Daniel Bryan is not finished with him. And that makes things a lot more interesting as well. The fact that this picture has taken weeks to appear since the first attack, just, I don't know. I completely don't know why that would happen. But of course, it did reference into the family that Bray Wyatt kept referencing as well. Last week, he mentioned family. He was upset he didn't have a family at Thanksgiving. This week, he mentioned family again, and it got Twitter buzzing. People have been messaging me non-stop Do I think that this could be a return for the Wyatt family? Well, if Bray Wyatt is no longer the Fiend, it's plausible and it's very possible. But, okay, normal cap on right now. I don't think that is what it was. I really do believe that it was just Bray Wyatt winding up The Miz, trying to get into Miz's head by saying he was going to join the Miz's family. Of course, we saw this picture later on backstage when Bray attacked The Miz. It had Bray Wyatt's picture superimposed over the Miz's picture. Bray Wyatt joined the Miz's family. It's a picture of the Miz's wife, kids, and the Miz that then have Bray Wyatt in it. We also did hear the announcement that The Miz will take on Bray Wyatt at TLC. Now, what's interesting is it doesn't say it's for the Universal Championship. WWE's not tweeted out that it's for the Universal Championship that I've seen. So, you would think if Bray Wyatt was to win this match, the Universal Championship would be on the line because it would be a nice, easy win, nice, easy title defense. But it's not. So maybe at TLC we see the return of Daniel Bryan debuting his new Fiend gimmick. I like that. I think it's very plausible. I think it's possible. I've seen a few people mention this, saying that Daniel Bryan attacks The Miz. But what if Daniel Bryan, the Fiend, attacks Bray Wyatt? That then could set up for the Fiend versus Bray Wyatt at Royal Rumble. And that is something is rumoured that WWE really wants to do. So it's very possible that that actually does happen. And of course, it's always possible that we see Daniel Bryan in his own version of a Firefly Fun House. Now, I don't think it would be called a Firefly Fun House. Maybe it would be called a Dragon Fun House. Maybe it would be called like the American Dragon House. Something along those kind of lines. Maybe we see a whole new Daniel Bryan. And I like this a lot. I do like the idea of a different funhouse for Daniel Bryan. Maybe the fact that Daniel Bryan is now dead, like Bray Wyatt and the puppets. Maybe Daniel Bryan is the guy in the funhouse, while the Fiend is a guy that attacks. Maybe Bray Wyatt is nothing more than an entity, a ghost, a remnants of the Miz's imagination. I like that theory a lot. I really want to know your thoughts on all of this. So if you're not on the premiere, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. And as always, I'll see you next time. Peace!